Hello there. If you're watching this video, you've probably already bought or are considering purchasing an ATEM Mini. These things are magical. There are a lot of great videos on how you can use them. There are a number of videos geared towards creatives using them in a home studio or other situations. What I want to talk to you about today though is how you can take this little switcher, the phone that's already in your pocket and your laptop, and start streaming live at small events. For my use case, we're looking at this particular switcher as a smaller, more portable option to carry for events like, say, meetups or Ignite Talks or Pecha Kucha events, or just small lunch and learn type events that you would see at an incubator. This will give you everything you need. You can have 2 to 3 video angles as well as your speaker slides coming in. So now that you have all of that information, how do you get it out? Well, let's talk about that. I'm going to pull up this laptop. We're going to start recording it, and then we can actually look at what the steps are, and it's really quite simple. With just one piece of software, you can tether your phone, you can tether 2 phones, even without purchasing something like this crazy device that costs $1,000 and then $200 to $300 a month in data plans and other features. Or without having something like this cord, you can still get great results. Remember, if you go into a space and you're depending on the Wi-Fi that's available, you are in the same boat as every attendee of the event. Think about what the space is, and then think about what the use case is. Don't be dependent on someone else's Wi-Fi. You'll never get 7 to 10 megabytes on a consistent basis. You can use that with this piece of software, and it will actually help you by dispersing where your signal is coming from, going to, etc. You can send packets out over their Wi-Fi, but you don't have to depend on it if you bond multiple sessions. So let me find QuickTime rather quickly, and then we'll get going. Okay, now that we have that squared away, now that we're recording so that I can let you see what I'm doing, this little S down here is an app. There's a link below. If you wouldn't mind, please use the link if you find this useful. It actually helps me out a bit. It'll allow me to continue to make more videos. It costs you nothing, but I get a small percentage of that. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna take, this is a Pixel 3a, so not the newest, not the best, but it's pretty good. We're gonna tether it to this older MacBook. I actually need an adapter for mine. Depending on what your situation is with your laptop, you may not. Once I've done that, Speedify is up. I need to actually go into my phone and allow USB tethering. It will actually say USB powering for an Android phone, and then you'll have the option to go in and adjust that to tethering. If you're on a Mac, Speedify will actually offer you in their help menu, help options, there's a bit of code that you may need to place on your computer to actually allow it to interface through USB with an Android device. Just know that going in. But as you can see now, the phone is showing up. The 3A is showing up. But now let's do something even better. Let's take this old iPhone and let's plug it in. And I'm going to show you something really cool. You can actually use up to, I believe, 10 devices. So hotspot is enabled. So we should see an iPhone, an old struggling iPhone any minute. So an iPhone 4S will work too. I wouldn't trust it. It would not be my go-to. But for the purposes of this demonstration, this phone, the iPhone is on Verizon. This new Pixel 3a is on Google Fi. We're combining those 2 signals, and right now it will switch between whichever one is working the best. You can see that our bonding is out of Miami because I'm based in Florida. Let's do a speed test really quickly and see what this looks like. I think you'll find it really useful. I would also say that if you have a really important client or a job that you really want to get again and again, there are options in there to, instead of just bonding and combining and using whichever signal is the best, to actually send redundant packets over both of your signals or all 3 of your signals. And in many cases with this software, you may actually want to go in and take this program, and you may want to play with the controls. There's an option in there to actually make that redundant kind of your primary option. I would do that. It will also take in, if available, an Ethernet connection. Again, don't count on Ethernet that's available on site to carry all of your load, but you can use it. You can use additional Wi-Fi hotspots. You can use additional phones or whatever device you have at your disposal to get internet out. The more switches you have, obviously, the better off you are. So let's look at this test real quick. It looks like it's still going. And for our use case, we're doing pretty good. Yeah, so our upload speed for the Pixel 3a, you can see, is 12.7 megabytes. For the iPhone, which is struggling, let's be honest here, she's seen her better days. She's at 915 kilobytes per second. It's worth noting that the Verizon tower, based on where I am now, is further away. The phone is older. It's not the best situation. And Google Fi, in case you don't know, actually runs a lot of their data through T-Mobile, and there's a tower just down the street from me. So it's probably the best case scenario. But the combined megabytes, as you can see here, are 12 megabytes per second. And if we added another signal, for instance, a Wi-Fi, let's see if it will pick one up. Let's go back. We now have Wi-Fi. So let's retest now that we have Wi-Fi 2. As you can see, each of these are kind of providing data at a different rate. The download probably doesn't matter as much to you. I will say one situation, and the reason that I know Speedify exists is because we were looking at a situation where they wanted to remote in a guest and they wanted us to manage that. So normally when you use something like the LiveU, which costs $1,000, what you would do is you would send a signal, a dedicated signal out. When you need to bring the person back in, it's a lot more complicated than just figuring out a mix minus so that they don't hear themselves with a few seconds delay. It's a different protocol. It's a different process. So be cognizant of that. Think about what you're being asked to do before you commit to doing it. So I think we're on our last leg of the test here. Let's see. Getting pretty close. And the iPhone is yet again struggling. Yeah, so what we can see so far, if you're looking at this, the 5G has 13.6 megabytes per second up. The Pixel has 12.4, and the iPhone again struggles. So now it's going to run a combined load test to see what all three are. You can see down here, if you're looking, it kind of varies a bit, but the Wi-Fi and the Pixel are really carrying this load. And so the more sources that you have, the better off you are. Having something like Speedify, I know it costs a couple of bucks a month, but here's the thing, you can cancel it. You can cancel it at any time. You don't spend $1,000 on a LiveU pack or an additional LiveU pack. You don't have to figure out sharing your data as quickly. So if you're just starting out, I would really consider looking at something like this that you can cancel, but I don't think you'll want to. I think you'll really benefit from having something like this in your kit, on your laptop, wherever you're going. Okay, the results are done. The combined output is now 13.1 megabytes per second. So I think that's great. So I want to show you one more thing. I'm not going to show you today. If you like this video, please give it a like. Please subscribe so that you can catch my next video later this week or early next week when some more components come in. I'm waiting on one last piece. We're actually going to consider taking something like this mini PC. This one in particular actually works really well to stream the signal from from the ATEM Mini. So if you're looking at the ATEM Mini and you're saying, great, now I've got a $1,600, $3,000, whatever your laptop may cost, that I'm now going to try and stream through. Or if you're thinking about how can I use this as an additional piece of kit, well, if you can get a $200 mini PC, this one seems to do just great. I want to review it later this week. This could actually solve a lot of your problems. This mini PC and a small portable monitor can do everything you need to do. It can save your macros. You can reload them after you power cycle the ATEM Mini off. All of the things that you'll learn from other videos. And it'll give you the opportunity to actually use this as something that maybe a loaner, maybe you have volunteers, maybe you have new crew members or really small events where you don't want to package all of your stuff up. Imagine being able to carry just these 2 bits of kit and a monitor and going to an event versus packing up everything that you own. So I would say if you haven't already purchased the ATEM Mini, there's a link below. Consider using my link. It really does help. And watch out for the next video. The next video will definitely be on this. Hopefully it'll be out by the end of the week. And hopefully next week there's another piece of software for your Android device that may make this even simpler in a really run and gun kind of scenario for someone who's doing event streaming. So with that, I want to say thank you. This is Joe from Alpha Creative signing off.